give us
We
a
like
shout.
talking to people. We like talking. Come on.
Well,
comments
and
away.
speaking of talking to people, this is a legitimate transition. I've got Shiloah TV, right? I said it right.
Shiloh, yeah.
Sheila, say it. You say
Shiloh
it.
or well, Shiloh is the
Shiloh.
Hebraic way of saying it,
Sheila.
which is actually found in the book of Isaiah. It's only said one time with that spelling, which refers to the water, and people would, they were turning away from the living water at the time. And so Shiloh, the English way of saying it, the Americanized way of saying it, it's really, the focus of it was to create a TV streaming that was focused in faith and really Judeo-Christian values and what that means and how important it is. And so I really want to do more with Israel. I really want to show more of Israel and show but some of the things we have some of the stuff for Jerusalem and Yeshua. We're also showing revival that is happening in the Philippines. We have the 2 series that are coming out that will be uploaded very soon. We're going to have about 40 or 50 different pieces coming on, and it's just going to continue as we grow. I wasn't ready to roll this out. It was something that I was like trying to figure out what to do and really leaning on the Lord. But when I got to Israel, I felt a rush to help get the education out about Israel. First thing is the importance of the archaeology. And also this narrative that Jesus was Palestinian is really actually incorrect doctrine.
What is that?
I'm sorry.
You haven't heard that yet?
What
is that?
Who said that?
There are pastors that are teaching this, my love. And Ericka, I will go as far as to say, as recently as there's a nativity. I posted it in my stories yesterday. There was a nativity.
I saw that.
At the Vatican.
Yes, I saw the baby in his wheelchair.
Baby Jesus is wrapped in a freedom-fighting Palestinian kippah.
We can't.
I saw it.
Is this on Facebook, Instagram? Which one is
It's
it?
on the
Everywhere.
news. It was all over the news. It was
no. Wait, no. Where did you post it, Kaya?
I'll repost it for you. I'll send it to you, girl.
Okay.
Well, the point is, no. But there's actually pastors and preachers that are teaching that Jesus was a Palestinian refugee who had to flee to Egypt. They're leaving out the part that this has been going on against the Jewish people from the time of Moses. This is not new what took place coming after Jesus. And so it didn't have to do with just he was a refugee. It had to do with he was a Jew being born that had a purpose. That's it. He had a great purpose. And so did Moses. And we saw what poor Moses had to be sent down a river without family. Mother had to let him go in order to save the boy's life. That has been going on against Jewish people for thousands of years. So the fact that anyone right now, and even believers, first comes the Saturday, then comes the Sunday. So if you think they're going to stop with the Jews, Christians, you better wake up, Buttercup, because they're not.
And you would think that nativity scene, the first thing that went through my mind, well, there's a lot of things that go through my mind. It's not usually linear at all. But one of the first things that went through my mind when I saw that image was, where are the Christian people? Why are they not sitting here? And by the way, there are many who have been in support of Israel.
Yes, there have. But we need
so
more.
I want to honor that. But you are looking at your nativity scene and you are seeing that, and your Pope is sitting there not saying boo.
Okay, first of all,
okay,
hold on, hang on. Okay,
Catholic. Sorry. Did I not say Catholic? Sorry.
I follow Jesus. I have a Bible that tells. Look, I'm not trying to. If Jay the Shepherd is watching, my man, you know I love you, but bro, I don't need anybody between me and Jesus. I don't need some dude who's clearly a freaking wackadoo trying to tell me what my freaking morals need to be.
And anti-Jewish, apparently, too, right?
But the reality is that America is full of a bunch of lukewarm Christians because we don't actually have to work for our faith.
That's it.
We don't actually have to suffer. I mean, I dealt with persecution in Vermont for being Christian, but I mean, persecution. I got called names. I wasn't like being hunted. I could still go to church. Like, and frankly, you know, our life is really easy here. And soft people don't have to depend on God.
There's
comfortable people.
That's 100% true, but there's a theology that's being taught, and that's this it's actually the scariest theology of all. The theology is replacing the word of God with Yeshua. That Jesus came, therefore we don't have to worry about the law. I actually was working in churches where people would come up and say, "Girl, why are you studying the Torah? The law is done away with." And I would look at them so sincerely and say, it's actually still in place and it still goes. And if you love Jesus, then you want to walk and track with him through the commands. You want to do the Shabbat. You want to do the Sabbath. You want to understand what a Seder is. And when you go to a Seder table, if you love Yeshua, you can't look at that table and not see him, because you believe he is the Passover lamb. When you sit at a Seder and you see the bread, the salt, and the bread looking like the body of Yeshua on the cross, the puncture wounds, the bruising, the lashing, which is, our matzah. It really is, every piece is such a gift. I can't look at a Seder and not see Yeshua, and I can't look at Yeshua and not see the Torah. I cannot. And anyone that loves him would know that he's a one-man Israel. And I should be fixated on it. And you need to wake up and speak up now. It's not a time to wait. Because if what are you waiting for?
Right.
It's now. It's right now. If you believe in everything in that book, and I do, then what time of day are we living in where good will be seen as bad, bad will be seen as good, where all of the world will come against Israel? Are we not witnessing that right now? Any day could be the day the Mashiach comes. And are we ready? I don't feel that the Christian community is prepared, because it's almost like, well, we don't need to be in the war. We're over here. No, baby, you're built for this war. Let's go. You have to now understand that this is where the two branches, if you believe in Ezekiel speaks of the two branches shall become one. And I do believe that's the day where we as believers who believe in the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, we do see we are one. And I hope and pray each day that Christians will really start to see this is a manipulation of the enemy, and the enemy's real, folks. And they're not going to end with just coming after Jews. They will not.
And that's the piece of it, right? I mean, you sit here and you say, how did the Pope get in front of this, baby Jesus that's, whatever they're calling it now, and it didn't start the way it was supposed to. And you sit here and go, of course, right? That's it, right? That's the picture, right? And he's just sitting there loving it, right? And you sit here and you go, guys, that's what's going on in the schools now. That's what's going on in our educational system. They are changing the script. They are taking away our values. They are taking away parental influence. They are trying to literally indoctrinate. 30 years of this is how we get that in front of the Pope. I mean, and it's mind-blowing that people can't see this. They can't understand it. They think, oh, it's anti-Semitism. They're going to come for the Jews. Yeah, okay. We're just the tip of the iceberg, the tip of the spear, whatever the saying is.
One of my dear friends, Corinne, she's an incredible singer. She's being very vocal about Israel. She was born in Lebanon, and she sings worship music. She's a Christian. She cannot go back into Lebanon because she's considered a threat, because she is considered an evangelist. And when I tell you the thought of, this is a woman from Lebanon, and she's not Jewish, she's a Christian, and she cannot go back to Lebanon. So wake up. And she's a Middle Eastern woman. So when we have these discussions, look at the women and the way that they're treated in these countries. 9 years old, you can be literally married off. 9 in Iraq. In Afghanistan, women are not allowed to talk amongst themselves for it to be heard. Their voices have to be kept almost silent. if you notice, they're dressed in an entire beekeeper suit, and I'm never going to wear one of those bad boys. So my head's on the chopping block, and I don't care.
But where's the outrage on that? Nobody says a word.
Not a word. Not a word.
So I have a question to ask you, as a person who, as Pussycat Dolls and being in the entertainment world. Yeah. I mean, how do you reconcile that with all of these famous people who are in the entertainment business who have such a platform?
Yeah.
And are silent, like not even the ones that are against, like, obviously there's you and there's many others who are very vocal in support. Yes. I don't even care about the ones that are against. Okay. That's fine. But the silent ones are the ones that are killing me, because they are sitting there trying to protect themselves. Okay. They don't want to get involved. They don't want to be canceled. They don't want to be anything. And that to me is cowardly, and it is disgusting. And just by virtue of them not saying anything, I want nothing to do with them. And I hate to say that, but it's like, we are all human beings. Like, we should be outraged when any human is being treated, killed, treated maliciously, killed, persecuted against, whatever it is.
Yes. No
So
matter
how do you
what.
reconcile that?
I can't. I'll be honest with you. They're failing the test, and God is testing them. Actually, Satan is sifting them like wheat, and I don't even know if they're aware of their fate. It is very serious to not speak up. And in fact, if we go back in history, there's a film called Letter to the American Church. My friends did this movie. It's phenomenal. However, in the movie, they went into deep diving into Hitler, Mao, Mussolini. How did they get all of these people to be controlled? How did Hitler get an entire country to turn against the Jews? And one of the things that was so interesting that this film talks about is the ones that were silent. There were about 3,000 in the church that spoke up, that said, we don't want this, da 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 da. Then there were about 2,000 that opposed the church. And then there were about 12,000 that said nothing. The 12,000 that in this film they uncovered could have been the variable of World War II happening or it not happening, because they did not speak. Believe it or not, silence is speech. We already hear them. They've spoken. By not speaking, you have spoken. And by the way, we will never forget it. I pray for your soul when it comes to the end times, but we will not forget that in this moment, you chose to not say anything. And I'll be honest, if it were me, my mother, my sister, if someone was taken into Gaza, I would want to rage all war against whoever did that to them. After sitting with families of people that are still being kept captive, and they're women, what do you think's being done to them daily? Use your brain. If you care about women, if you care about women's rights, you should be speaking up to see and hear what people have endured, the crimes against humanity, sodomizing a woman's body when she's already decapitated, burning of children, suffocation by gas is how they killed many in the different kibbutz, burning them. Yeah. It's absurd. And then the people, especially for me in the music world, the Nova Festival, when I got to that site in Israel,
oh God, it was awful.
I just, because I'm a singer that always has been the one that brings the party. And now, of course, I worship the Lord, but there was so many years where I was that party girl. They're me and I'm them. And standing there to think they had nowhere to run and hide. They had nowhere to go. And they were gunned down when they just wanted to dance. Yeah. The thought of that more in the EDM world and the DJ world and the community that I know well haven't said anything. Shame on them. Shame on them. You should be using your voice, because who's to say that couldn't happen here? Who's to say?
Happened here.
It's happening. It's happening. Yeah.
I was at Route 91 performing on stage an hour before it took place. Literally with John Rich and from Big and Rich. And literally an hour later, everyone in a rundown situation running to hide.
So it literally was you.
Truly. And right after that concert, and you can look this up because a lot of people don't know, I'm still on an ISIS list of they want to behead me on US soil. So for me, it's like, of course I'm going to go all balls to the wall for Israel, because they already want to kill me because I'm a believer.
Yeah.
That's it. So it might as well kill me for God's people and country. I would do it in a second. 100%.
And I feel like you were almost kind of set up for this a little bit, you know,
a little bit.
You know, in thinking about, you know, listening to your stories about what it was like, you know, early in your career.
Yeah.
And, you know,
and the
how,
abuse. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
Yeah.
you were one of the few people who like snapped out of it and said, no, it can't be like this anymore. And then they tried to, you know, crush you.
And look at it
for
now. And when I tell you, I sit back and every day more names come out and I'm just like,
oh my gosh.
Listen, glory to God in heaven for actually giving me the ability to see it happen, because the amount of girls that have been so mistreated and forced abortions and drug abuse and trafficked in a way when you're sent in a car with a man you don't know.
Yeah.
Sure.
And over and over again. And you're like, why isn't my car here? Oh, it never showed. So so-and-so is going to take you home tonight. I lived in, and when I left, I was so scared. And at the time I was in a relationship with Nick Carter, who too was abusive. And it was like, I couldn't get out of the, like, living in this. So you're so honest, you know, Ericka, to say, like, in a way, God already designed it, right? Because he knew that I would then have, I have so much strength. And after the shooting in Vegas, after getting those ISIS death threats, I remember someone took me to a training with this Navy SEAL, Dom Rosso, who's now like my brother. And he said to me, I know you're on a list. And I said, yeah. And he said, I'm on that list too. And I said,
there you go.
Yeah. And he said, so I'm going to train you, because it's not a fake list. It's a real list, Kaya. And if they ever do come, there are going to be many that come for you, and you need to know how to fight. And that was the day I went from probably being this young girl from the dolls as a victim to now I'm a firearms instructor. And nobody knows that because I don't publicize
Love that. I
That's
love
okay.
that.
So
good
hold
for
on.
you.
I was totally cyber stalking you. And I came across videos of like tactical videos, and I was like, what in the bleep? And then I got distracted and I didn't get to go watch it. But now I know what they are.
Yeah. And I always now encourage women, because I was the girl that was abused in my youth. And I picked poorly because my self-esteem sucks. We date our self-esteem. And
say that again.
You like that one.
We date our self-esteem. And so when you're really here, you can only date what's there. And guys actually enjoy to even make you lower if they are predators to control you. Because once you know your value and you know your worth, and you know you're a beautiful child of God, and you're perfect and wonderfully made in the image of the creator of heaven and earth, then you'll really want to be like, no, I want a guy that wants to honor this queen.
Right. And you won't stand for it.
You won't stand for it. And so I then transitioned into, I became like a sport for me, a hobby. I went into doing scenario training, pistol training, rifle training, and hand-to-hand training, knife training. And it became like my fun place to be able to learn to fight back. And that gave me a piece that probably when I was then offered to go to Israel, most people may have said, I think one, it was the Lord that gave me the push, but I also felt confident if I had to fight, I can.
Yeah.
And I do think in this season for women, learn to protect yourself, because you hear what's going on in our country with young women jogging, with young women being attacked. You are your first response. And Israel is doing what they need to do to be their first response. And right now we have Jews in Syria protecting Christians.
Is that amazing?
Hear that again.
Amazing.
Jews in Syria protecting Christians from persecution. If you're a Christian and you're not waking up, You stand with the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They are his chosen people. If you don't like it, take it up with God. That's it.
Love it. I love it. You're so right. You're so right.
Done.
So I hear how you've become empowered over the years, both through religion and, with this, through God, as well as, coming out of all of the abuse and empowering yourself with guns and all of that. Talk to me about the show that you're doing and because I know that part of that has women's empowerment, and that was part of the concept behind it. So share with our audience that.
So we're working on my podcast, and the main goal, so we have the album that's coming out, and a lot of the songs are connected to all of these different, like the next song is actually a song called Treasured, and it's connected to the tribe of Dan. It's connected to Ethiopia. So there's a lot of Ethiopia that's going through suffering, living in trash dumps. And so this song is a message that was given by God to the woman who created this foundation, Treasured, that they're not trash, they're my treasured.
Wow.
And we have over 500 trash dumps throughout the world. And this is the beginning of a discussion that we need to start helping one another. And really, this is revival, because all of the tribes have to come back. So the focus for this album is to get people ready for the King of Kings, because he is here right now, and he is returning in a real way. But the Spirit of God is being poured out into the world. Jews are coming closer to God and their traditions, which are valuable, which Christians are going to love, because it is proof of the love you have for the Bible in real life. It's walking out the commands when you come into the Sabbath and all of those things. So this album is the focus of really getting my music out and worship out, and then connecting with different organizations through the world that are doing different things for different people that I do believe are tribes of Israel. That's the first one. And the second thing is Blessed by Kaya is we're doing a podcast, and I want to deep dive into the abuse that I've gone through, how to be a strong, empowered woman, how to be a godly woman, and also to deep dive into biblical references, cross references, so that people understand, we're not just going to put things out on social media. I've heard things from Candace Owens of, the different contexts of being a believer. And I have degrees in them. I have 7. So I want to go toe to toe with some of the individuals that have a thought as believers that biblically it's not sound doctrine. So you might see some debates on there.
Ooh, amazing. I'm on your team, because you're going to knock it out of the park against them. I couldn't hold a candle to you. So
okay, wait, hold on.
You could. Awesome. Oh, you can. Are you kidding? I love you, Lori.
I have your first debate ready.
Let's go.
Uh-oh.
Follow the laws except for not eating bacon. Look, I'm telling you, like, most of the law I can get down with, but bro, like,
no, let me.
Bacon is good.
No, so let me explain something, because I think a lot of people. So the kosher laws really are for your body.
Yeah.
God built the body, and it's actually about our internal health. So He made a Maybach. A Maybach doesn't take regular gas, or you're a Maserati, or you're a Phantom. Your body is a temple. So He's telling you what works well in the system that I built. So when you put this stuff in, you're going to go good. He's not putting you to hell because you ate bacon. He's saying you might get cholesterol. You might get sick because those animals don't sweat. That's what He's saying. He's not saying you can't. He's saying you shouldn't.
You can.
Wait, I'm sorry, Ericka, but I just have to put this in. My Torah portion, for my bat mitzvah was on kosher and kashrut and the cleft hooves and not being clean for you. And
we're clean and clean, holy and holy. Yeah,
we're going back like 40 something years.
Go, Lori, you're the queen.
I remember that.
Go, Lori. That's
my rabbi would be so thrilled. I think he's not alive anymore, but he would be thrilled, and wherever he is right now, he'd be thrilled.
He is alive. He's with Hashem.
Yes, he's with Hashem.
He is.
He's not in this physical space.
Yes, I love it.
Ericka.
This is I love it. This is fantastic. The food thing is always funny. The Bible, I tell people, like, you don't have to be religious to read the Bible and see that this is basically just like lessons on how to have a decent life. Yeah. How to not be a butthole. And like how to have a fulfilling life. And not,
Yes. And this is the thing for Christians. I will tell you, it's not about you being a legalist.
Yeah.
Jews don't have magic beans. Why they
don't? Wait, hold on.
I'm going to tell you something.
They don't. Beans.
No, but people think, and they come against Jews because they think, why are they successful? And there's jealousy towards Jews. And I'm going to tell you, don't be jealous. Why don't you follow the commands that he gave them and see if you don't have the authority in the earth like them too? He gave it for everyone. The Torah doesn't belong to the Jews. They are the chosen ones to protect it and teach it. It belongs to all of the world. And if you follow the commands, God will bless your home like on another level. And I encourage people, truly, you think their wisdom, it's called Torah IQ. Google it. It's an actual thing. When you study God, he pours into your mind and expands your thoughts. It's not like they're different in all the different ways. They're just humans that follow God's commands. And because of that, he will bless them exponentially. That's what it is. So if you want to have a fruitful life, stop hating them. Actually, maybe see they're doing something correct and God therefore is blessing them. So don't hate. And in fact, it's dangerous too, because he does say he will kill you if you come against the hand that is his chosen people. He says, don't touch them.
Well,
so why wouldn't? Why would you go against what he says?
That was wise. That's a wise, like, let's keep it really simple. Like, he'll tell you he's going to kill you, but
he
I have
does.
To tell you, and he does magical things. I mean, and it's exactly that. Like, if you look at the synagogue that was arsoned in Australia, the Torahs were not damaged. It's like the whole thing burns. There's people inside of it. They get out safely. And the Torahs were not burned. If that is not a sign that he is blessing the people that are following his commandments, I don't know what is. Like, to me, that is it.
Same actually with oh gosh, why am I blanking? Where we just had all that flood was in North Carolina, South Carolina. Okay, so in North Carolina, they had the flood and everything. There was a Bible, and I posted it. It was a Bible that stood, I don't know how it got onto this stick. It was almost like whatever occurred, it got like slammed on a stick, and it was
impaled on it?
Impaled and untouched, as everything around it was gone except for the Bible. It is the written word of the creator of heaven and earth. If you don't think it's supernatural, we are supernatural. God exists in that word. And when you realize we serve a supernatural God, he literally says, do not touch my anointed. Do my prophets no harm. Do not touch the widow and orphan, for he will make, God says, I will make you a widow, your wife widows, and your children orphans. This is God saying out of his own mouth what he has put into place. So when you touch Israel, you will not, it won't work out for you. And that means the people too. So if you notice, if you do things to a person and it never worked out for you, you probably touched a child of God, and it is a serious thing. And you should actually be more fearful of God. I think there's a lack of fear when it comes to God, that otherwise, why would people knowingly basically like, and then I heard of Assad. Assad had a Torah scroll in his basement.
Yes, I read that too. Unbelievable,
And
right?
but no, because he knows the authority of the Torah, and the Torah has, and God blesses you for having a Torah.
Or for having it. Yep.
For having it. And he knew that. He knew that. So deep down, he knows who is the rightful God. He knows who is the chosen people. And shame on you for not just being like, you know what? I don't want to be jealous. Maybe I want to convert to Judaism. Convert, Assad. That's what you are. You want to live on top of a Torah, but you don't want to be good to people, and you don't want to be good to God's people. I mean, it was almost like conniving of the enemy, how he would do that.
I think that is the perfect way to close the show tonight. Assad, convert to Judaism. Give your life to Jesus.
Give your life to Jesus.
Give your life to Jesus.
Give your life to Jesus. Follow the commands of God. Then you will prosper. It's
Y'all
not
can
just
be good instead of in a civil war all the time.
We need to make sure the Torah is brought to all nations. Like, we need to bring the Torah to the nations, because the whole world needs to have a reckoning of how serious these times are, and also how beautiful God's promise is, because he loves us all and he wants us to focus on him. And we're busy focusing on hatred and anger and resentment. And the worst of all is that when people are suffering, we're not speaking up for them. And I feel such a blessing to be with you ladies, and so honored to be standing in this season when God's watching for his people. Amazing.
Well, you are a blessing. So thank you.
You're a blessing, Lori. I watch
you.
everything you do. Everything with Sam. Everything. I'm like, I love it.
Well, and for those of you watching, make sure to check out the description so you can go to Shiloah TV.
Shiloh, yeah, Shiloh. You say it any way you want, Ericka.
Well, y'all can see it on the screen, and even if I'm pronouncing it wrong, there's a link in the description. Yes. And you can follow Kaya Jones on Facebook and Instagram. We've got the links in the description. Go check it out. And thank you again, Kaya Jones, for coming on this evening, sharing your experience, strength, and hope with our viewers, and especially at a time when your family is, having some struggles, and so giving your time to us is just
my dad.
Such a blessing.
I know, through this time. Thank you. My dad through this time has been on this ventilator. And before, he couldn't breathe before the ventilator because he wasn't responding. Just before it happened, he looked up and he was so enamored with what he saw. And my grandmother was like, "What is he staring at?" And I just said to her, "It's for him. And it's only for him." And so I know he'd be really proud that I got to stand with Israel right now. Yeah.
Oh. Well,
amen.
We wish him health, and we wish support to your entire family.
Thank you.
All of this, and thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I bless all of you. And thank you for having me. And we can't wait to do more with you. I want to do more. We need to do more and make sure that we get it. We should put this on Shiloh. We should put it all on Shiloh.
I am sure Robert would be into that. He's definitely.
We're gonna have a conversation. Don't you worry.
And even if he says no, we'll talk him into it. So
Go check the chat. Go check the chat. I already told you we have to talk after this. So don't you worry, Kaya. This is not the end. Don't worry.
I love you.
Just the beginning.
All right, you guys.
Thank you.
Robert will be back with us next week, so make sure not to miss it. All right, ladies, have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.